We're mourning the loss of Charlie Kirk, a conservative commentator, founder of Turning Point USA. He was a husband, father of 2 young children. He was assassinated, no other way to put it, on a college campus yesterday, beginning his college campus tour for this year. The search for his killer is still ongoing. We will bring you the latest details in the manhunt, because every moment matters.
So reaction pouring in from across the nation, actually all across the world right now. Governor Ron DeSantis, that's right. Governor Ron DeSantis is calling the young father a warrior for liberty. My home state of Texas Governor Greg Abbott says his voice was a beacon for young Americans.
The 31-year-old died while promoting the very ideals that our country was built on, understanding and acceptance of ideas.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assault, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
Interesting. When you stop talking, that's when civil war happens, he says.
I'm also have to hone in on some of his points of talking about the death threats that he had received previously. But he wouldn't stop going to the college campuses, even though they continue to yell and scream, and the death threats continued, and being stormed out of restaurants. That is the life for a lot of conservatives, believe it or not. And it's not hyperbole when you have the President of the United States that had 2 assassination attempts against him and was shot in one of them. And you have Charlie Kirk, who is probably the biggest voice. I gotta stop saying probably. He was the biggest voice, liberal or conservative, on college campuses. And he was assassinated because of what he believed. I know that because there was one shot. This wasn't an active shooter situation where people are shooting inside of the crowd. They shot him in his neck.
I want to know what made him so just convicted at such a young age, because he left his college to go and start organizations. He started another organization before Turning Point, just to get the conservative message in the hearts and in the minds and in the thoughts of people on liberal campuses. And he went against the grain, was willing to put his life at risk to go and do this, and ultimately it did cost him his life. But do you know his story? You were on campus reform when you were young.
Yeah, so Charlie's story is he was a young conservative. He grew up in a conservative household, listened to Rush Limbaugh all the time, and he was this young conservative throughout his high school, middle school. He grew up in a family like that and was just outspoken and had the opportunity to meet all these heroes and saw a void, which is conservatives had completely abandoned the college campuses. The ideas of conservatism did not exist, and he wanted to change that, and he wanted young people to know that they weren't alone. A lot of our colleagues that have children, college students and all that, kids listen to him. They didn't listen to their mom and dad, but they listened to Charlie Kirk because he made conservatism for young people relatable.
Yeah, he's not showing up in a suit there. He's dressed like a college kid because he wants to be relatable, and his message was, and most of the people, a lot of people showed up to disagree with him and spar with him. 900 signatures with this on change.org to protest his appearance in Arizona. 900. He said, no problem, we're still doing it. The college says we're definitely going to keep coming here. Clearly, you can't do that unless you're really going to commit more than 6 campus police to security. Here's the President of the United States who talked about the Charlie Kirk he knew.
Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died. The values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
And you know, the president's going to be here tomorrow. He's going to be here on the couch. Today, he's going to be in downtown New York City commemorating the 24 years since the planes hit the building and killed so many. And then he's going to go over to Yankee Stadium. Now, they didn't play baseball at Yankee Stadium on 9/11, but when they did go to play, the Yankees were first. And that's when George W. Bush went to the mound through the strike, and America got back on track. The president's going to go out, and I think he's going to throw that pitch again. But now you got at least two stories to hear from.
Did you hear that they commemorated, they remembered him at the Yankee Stadium game yesterday? Amazing. Here in New York City, a liberal city. So good for Yankees for doing that. And the president has ordered all the flags to fly at half-staff in honor of Charlie. And I also read that his wife and his family was there in Utah.
Wow.
I would just say this. I don't know. I'm sure some will disagree, but I just want people to understand what young conservatives feel right now. Charlie Kirk was the vessel, and they feel like this assassination was an attempt to silence them. That he was the voice for a lot of the conservatives all across the campuses. This a decade ago, getting 3,000 young conservatives on the college campus, that did not exist because they didn't feel welcome. They didn't feel like they had a voice. He gave them a voice, and by assassinating them, I know the killer, maybe his intent was to silence all of those voices, but I'm seeing young people online that are motivated. They're heartbroken because you just assassinated their leader of their movement. I know we think Donald Trump as the leader of MAGA and the leader of our country, but you got to make it relatable for young people. And Charlie was that voice. And the attempt to silence the entire movement of young people through Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump does not win young people in the last election without Charlie Kirk's work. You just don't.
He was very influential. It's amazing. He has such a heart for college students. It's beautiful because a lot of people write college students off. They think the next generation is doing things they shouldn't do. And you hear so many naysayers talking about that generation. He believed in you. And if you're in that generation, keep fighting, keep going, stay strong, because that's what Charlie would want.